name's Mark Ryko. I'm a Principal Concept Development Technical Director at Imagineering in Glendale, California. I've been an Imagineer for about a little over 20 years. The first 17 years of my career at Imagineering was in the illusion and special effects group, where I developed and designed magic for all of our parks around the world. My role specifically on this project was to develop and design a type of magic that would be complementary to the backstory for our World of Disney story here. And as you know, story is everything for us. It's where we start. And the story for this building goes a little bit something like this. In about 1925, the building was built because there was a growing desire to have an indoor farmers market for the community in Springs here. It was a place where all the farmers could bring all of their fruits and vegetables and produce for the community to buy. And that went really, really well for about 25 years until the American shopping experience started to change a little bit. And so less people started showing up, and the building kind of became empty and abandoned for a while. At that point, there were a group of young artists and designers that came through that happened to be animators that thought, you know what, this would be a great place for the East Coast Disney Animation Studios. And so it became there. They moved in and they worked out of here for about 35 years. Some of Walt's most famous animators worked through here, concepting and developing some of your most favorite feature films that we all love. At the end of that, in about 1989, Hollywood Studios opened up, so they moved over there. And the building became empty again. And ironically, it was a good time because there was the need for another place to shop. And so the World of Disney store moved in. And it ran up until the beginning of this year. The beginning of this year, they wanted to pay homage to those animators and the work that they had done in this building. And so what you're seeing around you is really an inspiration of all of that. When the animators moved out, though, they left behind a lot of trinkets, left behind a lot of jars and posters and sketches and things that you could imagine after a group would leave. And they were here when we started this. And so what you're seeing behind us here is actually a shelf filled with some of the ink and paint jars. And there is certainly a little bit of magic left inside of those. If you watch closely, you'll see the magic escape the jar. And when it gets out, it's so excited to be loose that it runs around and looks for the first thing to enchant. Some of the animations that you find on the wall as well. What's unique about those is those are original animators' pencil sketches. So the way it would work is years ago, when the animators would do a bunch of sketches, they'd want to see how they were performing, how it looked, how things were moving. And so they'd put them together and they'd flip them and they'd film them. And then they'd run a quick little kind of few seconds worth of animation to go, how's this looking? Is this working? And they'd make notes all over the thing to let the animators know, go back and do this, make it a little more like this. So what you will see here are real animators' notes and real pencil sketches that the public has never seen before. That kind of makes it special.
How many sets of those are around the store?
The animation, the pencil sketches, there's like 25 different pencil sketches that you can watch and see. They're back there. When I was a child, I used to write on my desk. And it's the exact same thing that the animators used to do if you look at original animators' desks. And so each one of these desks kind of pays homage to one of the original, the 901. This one on the end over here is a good example. This was Mark Davis. Mark Davis did animations not only for feature animation, but he also did them for theme parks, Pirates of the Caribbean, things like that. So he worked back and forth. So as you walk around the store, you're going to see these at the checkout counters all over. Please pay attention to them, take some pictures of them, really enjoy them because there's some really beautiful artwork on them. There's also posters over there, yearly posters that were some of the original movie posters for the animation, and those too become enchanted. Those all the way from the 20s all the way up through the late 80s, beginning of the 90s.